driving video. Right now you can hear this fan is blowing full blast. That's because I just got on the road not long ago and that's in there, and it is working full blast to cool off the interior. All of the climate control functions work great. In fact, turn the fan down so you can hear a little bit more about what's going on in this car. So you can hear a little bit of the wood on the door rattles a little bit. I'm pretty sure they all do that. There's probably a way to tighten that or something like that, but it seems to be mainly on the driver's side, front and rear. I just kind of got used to it, and the seats kind of squeak a little bit when you're going over bumps. Now you can't really hear it too much in this video, but I want to, in the interest of full disclosure, let's see if you can hear it here. Yeah, you can't really hear it. It's real subtle, but when you go over bumps, there's a very slight rattling. It reminds me of what you might hear when you have a sway bar bushing that's getting a little loose or something like that. It doesn't affect any of the handling or any of that. It feels real good. It's nice and quiet in here. Shifts and accelerates the way that it should. And my friend drove this, and he described it as, it drives like a new one. And he's actually really not too far off. It does, it is 30 years old, and it's got 114,000 miles on it, but it's really remarkable the way this thing drives. These things, when they're taken care of, they do really well. One thing to note is the temperature gauge reads a bit low. I actually thought it was the thermostat, and I had a new thermostat put in. Gotta watch, there's somebody walking on the side of the road. I had a new thermostat put in, and that didn't change anything. So it's either the temperature sender or this actual gauge itself. So that's probably I've got an 87 degree thermostat in there, and it's probably right about at that now. So that's just something to note. It does run at the proper temperature. It just registers a little bit low on the gauge. All the other gauges work fine. The clock works fine. I'll show a lot of that other stuff in the walk around video. The other thing to note, you may have heard right there when I put the brakes on, there's a little bit of a hum that comes from the left front. Now this car just passed West Virginia inspection 4,000 miles ago, and they're very strict. They check all the suspension and everything like that. In fact, I had to replace a tie rod end and have the wheel bearings adjusted so that it would pass. I mean, they checked little details like that. They didn't say anything about the brakes, and when I looked at them, everything looked fine. The pads and rotors looked fine. The prior owner put those wheel clean inserts in the front wheels. I don't particularly like them. I've just never gotten around to taking them out yet. Maybe something to do with one of those rubbing or something. It's usually going downhill, so listen. I mean, it doesn't sound like anything bad. It's just something to notice. Okay, the next thing I want to show you, there's not usually a lot of traffic on this road, so let me pull out here and stop, and I'm just going to floor it so you can see the acceleration. And this is with the AC compressor on. So even with the AC compressor by the way, that display for the temperature is nice and clear, and it works. That is rare. I've had these cars 20 years ago and they didn't work. They were always busted or blank or whatever. The needles aren't faded. And then this works. You can see my my dash cam is working. So I'll be quiet for a little bit and just do some driving. You may hear little things like that rolling around. I've pointed out mainly the noises. I'll go ahead and open the sunroof too. Maybe you can hear that rattle a little bit better. I'll show you the sunroof opening in more detail when I do the walk around. It made the rattling a little more prominent. But basically, once you're done watching my videos, it's gonna be just as good as if you test drove it in person, because I'll call out everything. Yeah, I think you could hear that rattling. There's some bumps up here on this road. I'll be quiet so you can hear. Especially right through here. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, there's something rattling a little bit. And again, I'm gonna go ahead and close this now. The handling is fine. It feels good to drive. Feels like it's supposed to. I think it's just some silly bushing or something like that. I thought about fixing all that stuff before I sell it, but I've got another car inbound and I'm running out of space, so I figured I'm just going to go ahead and sell this one to make space for my other car that's inbound. I have two cars inbound and only really have space for one, but such is the life of somebody who's addicted to cars. Alright, like I promised, I'll be quiet for a little bit and just let you hear some of the driving dynamics. See right there, I put the brakes on pretty hard to slow down, and I'm on level ground, and I didn't hear that rubbing, humming noise. Yeah, so you don't really hear it on level ground. So that tells me it really probably doesn't have anything to do with the brakes themselves. Got a bottle of hand sanitizer that keeps rolling around. That's what I'm hearing. Forgot to take that out for the video. I think I got a bottle of water next to it. Yeah, the air that's coming out of those vents is freezing. I'll talk more about the air conditioner work in the walk around video, but suffice it to say it's pretty much got an entirely new HVAC system. I'll go into more details about that. downshifts promptly when you push the pedal in. It's actually quicker than some modern cars, actually. It does have a kick-down switch under the gas pedal. That works very well, because a lot of times if I'm like cruising along in 4th gear and I push it right before it hits the kick-down, it'll go to 3rd, and then if I push it again, it'll go to 2nd. Let me see if I can get it to do that here. There's 3rd and then kick down. Pushes it into 2nd. Yeah, so again, the driving dynamics of this car are spot on. And I'm pretty picky when it comes to the way a car should drive. And this one does what it's supposed to do. Yeah, the other thing to note as I'm thinking about it is driving it at high speeds on the highway. It's rock solid and smooth. I've had this thing up to 100 and it just feels perfectly stable, secure, no shakes or anything like that. Very tight suspension and steering and all that. So a couple more comments, and then I'm gonna find a place to do my drive around or walk around video. I pretty much have the entire maintenance history from day one. It's basically, I'm basically the 3rd owner, and the book is stamped for like the first several services, and then there's some in the Carfax, and then the guy that I got the car from, he had it for about 5 years. He put a lot of money into it. I think I have a stack of, I don't know, $10,000 worth of repairs, maybe more. He was very meticulous. He actually, during the better weather months, he actually drove the car daily for 4 years. I think he bought it with 60,000 miles on it, and I bought it with 109. I've put just over 5,000 miles on it. I've taken it on a few long road trips. I wouldn't hesitate to drive it anywhere right now as it sits. Alright, I'm gonna go find a spot for